best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the best next time is now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Today we have with us Anna, and it is a very special episode because it's a very important topic for many of us. We're going to talk about money, about finances. Anna is a certified financial educator and a wealth coach, and she has lots of things to teach us today. Hello, Anna. It is a pleasure to have you with us. How are you?
Hello, Maria, and thank you for having me here on your wonderful podcast. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. We were just commenting on we put on colorful tops today to bring in that extra energy.
Exactly. And if you're just listening and not seeing us, I'm sure that our energies will really come to you anyway, color or no color. Now, Anna, I want to ask you a very important question directly as we're
Yes.
getting started. Why should listeners tune in this episode today? What will they get out of it?
That's an awesome question. So, in reality, let's talk about money. As entrepreneurs, as new business owners, a lot of times there is a shame around the topic of money. And today I'm here to demystify it and hopefully bring more financial ease into your life.
Meat master. I love that. And I'm so grateful to have you here with us today because I know that money in general is a very, very big topic for coaches and creators, for people who want to run their online business. Many times, many of us are great when it comes to our expertise. We're great coaches. But the whole part of business, of money, of marketing, that's not always something we're naturally good at. But we can become good at that. And that's why you're here, Anna, to help us become better at that. For listeners out there, I encourage you to still take the end because we're really going to dive deep into some of the topics. And I'm so sure you're going to get a lot out of this. Now, Anna, I would say because you are very good with financial wellness and wealth building strategies. But I feel like there are many definitions for these terms: financial wellness, wealth building strategies. Can you just simplify it a bit and tell us what does that actually mean and why is it important for us to know about these?
So, how I see it, financial wellness is the ability to not only cope and meet the financial demands in our life, but to rise above them. It's about creating legacy and impact and using our money as a tool to be able to generate that impact and transforming other people's lives. And so, for me, when I think about money, I literally picture it almost like in an energetic form. And we are the custodians or stewards of that money while we are on this earth. And so it's about taking that energy and multiplying it for the good of others, our communities, and as well the world in general, frankly.
The Coach Tribe podcast is powered by Penside. I want to take this opportunity to tell you more about Penside and how much value it can provide you and your coaching business.
Penside is an all-in-one platform for coaches and educators that enables you to quickly and easily build a highly credible page and sell your knowledge with one-to-one sessions, group coaching, courses, Q&As, digital products, and bundles. Payments, scheduling, video calling, client communications, and everything else is taken care of.
All it takes is 5 minutes to set up and it's free. It's the smartest way to kickstart your coaching business. Sign up to Penside today at pensight.com.
Money as energy. Well, that is a new definition of money. Why is that an analogy? Because it's easier to visualize, or is that really it? Money is energy.
This is how I see it, right? When we, let's say, make money, right? We have a form of numbers, right? They come into our bank account. Okay, cool. It's there. We can visualize it. We can see it. We can log into our accounts. However, that money converts into other things, such as education, such as food on the table, such as utilities to have energy, water in our home. It transforms to charitable giving. And to me, something that comes in one form and transform into another form, for me, that is energy.
Why I'm so excited again for our conversation to come is because I know we're going to talk about holistic finances, which means we're not only go over, the finances part of running a business, but also of the importance of finances in your life overall, and how maybe external finances can impact your coaching business as well. Now, having said that, Anna, I feel like, can we start from the importance of finances in one's life, and how is that chapter important or can affect even me running a coaching business?
So you said something super interesting that many times as coaches or creators, right, we're very strong in our expertise and we're not maybe as focused on our financial side. Let's just take a step back and understand why that is. Number one, the reason is because to build expertise, we've put in the time to learn something, right? Whether that is if you are a social media expert, you've taken the time to understand Instagram, how the algorithm works, how the input and output works, how to build a following. You are an expert on that, for instance. You know, if you have a wellness coach that deals maybe with the more physical and nutritional side of wellness, well, you've put in the time to learn about how the body works, how the anatomy works, how food and nutrition build your body. So, in reality, for any of us out there, most of us never learned financial education at school, right? I grew up in Puerto Rico. I'm from the Caribbean originally. And I grew up in a wonderful home, but I always say it was a home plentiful of love, but not plentiful in, let's say, money. I've pivoted quite a bit in my life to get to where I am after going to study in the US and then going to work on Wall Street for over 22 years. I was on Wall Street basically, to then pivoting to my financial coaching business. But the thing is, I learned hands on how to build wealth strategically from humble beginnings. And so, how can a person who is, let's say, an expert in another field learn? It's by taking the time to build that knowledge, like everything, like you do in your own businesses as coaches and creators.
I just want to ask all of you listening, do you feel the relief of it's possible? Because I feel like, again, I've talked with many coaches, creators, and I have this idea that I'm just not good at it. No, the truth is that you didn't allocate the time or energy to learn. It's like, as Anna was saying, you are great at what you're doing because you spend so much time at developing your skills. And in the end, finances, you can see it as a skill set as well. So it's about investing that time and energy and, creating that environment so you can actually get the results that you want. But I feel like that brings a big relief because suddenly it's in your own hands. You can do it and it's empowering. So am I saying it right, Anna?
It's perfectly summarized. I loved it. And the holistic part that you had asked me before, Maria, sorry, to take a step back into that is the following. So, first of all, is giving ourselves, like you perfectly said, the grace to say, hey, you're right. No one taught me how to manage my money. So, how am I supposed to know something that I've never learned before, right? It's almost like driving a car. Do you imagine at 16, which, like in the US, and I believe in the UK as well, they give you the keys at 16, just say, go drive? Never. You have to take a course, then you have to do the practical side of the training to learn how to drive a car. Well, I believe the same with finances. Now, the thing with finances and why I, as a financial expert, believe in what I call holistic financial wellness, it's because we have to take our whole being. Those limiting beliefs that hold people back by saying, I'm not good at math, I'm not good with money. No, that's a limiting belief. We have to let go of that and holistically understand what makes us think that thought. And then we have to transform that thought. And a little tip I'm just going to share with people is, for instance, whether in your personal finances or in your business finances, you say, oh, I can't afford that. I want you to let go of that limiting belief and transform it to, how can I afford that? Because that is going to change your mindset and set forward ideas about the steps you need to initiate and take in order to achieve and be able to buy the object. Maybe it's an investment in your business. Maybe it's hiring another coach to help take your business to another level, investing in a platform that will help you bring your business forward.
You already got into this idea of mindset, and I'm always mind blown by how mindset in the end is at the core of almost everything if you think about it. So can you tell us a bit more again, why is it important to understand the importance of mindset when it comes to finances?
It's very simple. We all have what's called transgenerational money beliefs. Those are basically those limiting beliefs that we pick up from childhood, whether it is the environment we grew up, the marketing we see. I always say verbal or nonverbal actions we've seen our parents take with money and religion have an impact in our beliefs. Mindset is so important because if we don't target those limiting beliefs and transform them, we may work on, let's say, the tangible monetary side of our finances, but we will be making the same errors again and again. Two errors, just as an example. One is not charging your worth, right? Because maybe we have a limiting belief of like, who is going to pay me for my talents and skills? That is one way that a mindset transformation can help. If you say, no, I am worthy because look at the transformation I help my clients achieve. The skill set is very similar when you approach it from the correct mindset perspective of growth. And the other mindset that I would just say that's really important is, and I get this a lot, Maria, because when I work with individuals and with my clients, I work as, we talked about holistically, knowing their personal goals, where they want to take their businesses. And then I align how I train and teach them according to their strengths as well as their values and goals. And so why is this important for all of us from a mindset perspective is because we may learn, let's say, to invest. Okay, fine. I can easily teach you how to invest in index funds, ETFs, make your money grow through stocks. Fantastic. That's my expertise. But you know what? If I don't teach you how to manage your money correctly in terms of your income and expenses, and more than anything, the mindset that leads you into managing your money a certain way, those investments may necessarily not pay off for you because you may be getting into more debt or you may be mismanaging your money further.
And you made me very curious, when you said one of the limiting beliefs that many of us have is, I am not worth my price, your price for your coaching program. Can you tell us more of these examples, maybe from your experience, or limiting beliefs? Like, what are other common limiting beliefs that you see are staying between someone and where they want to be?
Number one, that's the most common that I see. Number two, most definitely, it's like, I'm just not good with money. Okay, let's take a step back. Why do you believe you're not good with money? Oh, because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, let's examine, why are you living paycheck to paycheck? To be honest, Maria, the equation to building wealth is very simple. They are what are called money levers to me. And we have different money levers in our life. And as a new entrepreneur or a successful entrepreneur, you have to control mainly two money levers, right? And there's others that I can talk about, but let's say the main two is your income and your expenses. If you want to build wealth, you need your income lever to be higher than your expense lever, because it is that difference in money that can then be invested into assets that help you build wealth. It's not just about saving money, it's investing the money. And again, I'm not just talking about financial products. I'm like investing in services and products as well that will take your business forward. Now, we are in an inflationary environment, right? Inflation slowly, especially in the US, has gone down a bit. In the UK, it's still quite high. But frankly, in both countries and around the world, inflation, meaning the prices for goods and services that we pay, is higher, right, than it was in the past. And there's many reasons for this. But the point is that at the moment, controlling our expenses is a little bit more difficult. So then what's the most important money lever that you, me, and everyone needs to focus on?
That's what I was saying. I was just showing increasing your income.
Yes, exactly. And there's ways we can do that, right? Actively and passively. So if we go into, let's say, the more principles of cash flow management, right, as business owners, we have to think of two types of income. And one of them is active income, which is where I exchange my skills and talents for time, right? I'm charging someone for maybe like a one-on-one session, let's say, right? I'm exchanging my time. And that is the first step in the wealth building process. Secondly is what's called passive income, right? And passive income, some examples could be, as a creator, you have digital products where you have no involvement, right? People pay, they download, voila, and the money comes into your bank account. The type of passive income that I teach, in addition to, for example, those kind of strategies when I work with entrepreneurs, is how can we use our money to invest it in things that pay us dividends, for instance, in stocks, things that pay us interest, things like bonds, right? In a very savvy and tax efficient way. Now, the thing is that I always say this because, especially there's sometimes people saying about, oh, all the passive income strategies that, will make you rich in 6 months. Listen, this is a long game. But the secret to success is, again, we need the active income to convert it into passive income.
We need the active income to convert it into passive income, because if we initially don't have the resources to create those passive income streams, then it's not really gonna happen. Now, I'm very happy that, we're already like going into this different streams of income specifically for a coach, Anna. Can you tell us a bit more into detail, how can coaches benefit most from, or what are some mistakes that you see them doing when it comes to finances, or what are some steps that they can take to level up their business game overall?
Let's think about two things. And, I myself started my business in 2020 after a long time working in the world of finance. So I myself had to find my feet as an entrepreneur, saying, okay, listen, I don't want this to be a hobby. I want this to be a business. Okay. What does a business do? A business generates money. So that is the first step of really understanding, what is my commitment to my business? Is it going to be a hobby, meaning something that I like to do and I'll have on the side, or is it going to be a proper business, right? And there's reasons why we need to have income, because even, for instance, if we incorporate ourselves even from, let's say, a business structure, well, you know what? The tax people are going to be like, wait a minute, you're deducting this, but you're having no income. That's a hobby. That's not a business, and it can actually hurt you. So it's really important to think about, okay, let's define my business, number one. The other thing, especially if some of your audience is at the beginning of their journey, is if we can manage our personal finances effectively, then we have money to invest in our business. Because at the beginning of our journey, any business will require two types of investment. Number one, money, and number two, time. And so if we can use our personal finances in a way, let's say, to lend to ourselves, right? So we just talked about digital products. Well, guess what? To sell digital products, probably we'll need an email service provider, right? To send the emails to our audience that we're building. Number two, we will need a platform where we can put those digital assets, let's say. Then we need, say, a payment system, right? So there's all these little bits and pieces that you need to invest time and money into building to create your business and generate both active and passive income. The thing is, as also as new business owners, we will face irregular cash flow, that there are setup costs, and you will have months where it's feast, and then other months where, you know what, maybe people are not buying as much from you, or maybe a few clients that had signed up with you cancel or cannot do your sessions at the moment, let's say. And so those are leaner times. So when we have strong personal finances, we're able to allocate some money to live on, right? So that our businesses will stay afloat. And another super important element that I like to add, when we manage our money correctly, and we have, let's say, what's called strong management skills for our money, when we have enough money, we have the mental bandwidth to allow our creativity to flow, to allow our creativity and our divine downloads that we have in our businesses to convert them into actionable and tangible products and transformations for those that we serve, right? If we have to be worrying about, how am I going to pay my rent this month? How am I going to put food on the table today? We're not going to have the total mental bandwidth to focus on our superpowers of creativity. And so that's why, as a financial educator and coach, I'm so passionate for especially those that are beginning in their small, let's say, small business owners, entrepreneurs in their journey, to really think strategically about, what do I envision my business to be, and how can I use my personal finances to help me build a strong, financially stable business.
And when you say personal finances, what do we exactly refer to?
So there, I would refer to literally, before we become an entrepreneur, usually we may have other sources of income, whether that was from a full-time job, like in my case, before I converted into being an entrepreneur. Personal finances and business finances. Personal finances are what we do in our day-to-day lives as us, as the person, me as Anna and you as Maria. Our business finances is what we do in our financial lives as, for example, for me, it's Wear Your Money Crown, and for you, it's Maria the entrepreneur, right? So that's why it's really important to keep them both separate. But again, why do I say about the personal finances is because every single business at some point in life, whether, to really grow, we're going to have to secure financing. You can secure financing by going to the bank and getting a loan, potentially, or by, obviously, in the venture capital world, by getting people to fund you. right? But you're giving up part of your business to do that. And maybe at the beginning, number one, you're like, listen, I want to own 100% of my business and be the authority in my business, right? That could be a thought that you have. Number two, it's very difficult for a bank to just fund you if you're especially a new entrepreneur or small business owner, right? And many times, if they do, they're still going to do a credit check on your personal financial life, right? They're going to look at, are you a quality person to guarantee that you're going to make this loan, especially at the beginning of our journey? But even if you're a more advanced entrepreneur and you're like, how can I scale my business? Okay, I need to hire people, let's say. Well, if I'm going to hire people, I need to secure some financing because right now, maybe I don't have the cash flow to allocate to hiring a bigger team. So how are you going to do that? Again, that's where your personal finances matter. Again, a lot of the skill sets that we learn in our personal finances, from money mindset to strategically allocating, let's say, a budget, managing investments, that's really important, right, for our businesses. So there is that very similar strategic skill set that we build from our personal finances that can translate to our business finances to help us weather the leaner times. But it's about saving for our future self. And sometimes when you're young, it's difficult to think, oh, retirement, that is so far away. But I just want to put two numbers in front of you. In the UK, only 31% of self-employed people have any type of retirement account. And in the US, it's 13% of single owned businesses. For people that own businesses, maybe in partnerships, it increases to 30%, but still that's quite low. This is in comparison to 70 and 80% for those that are in full-time employment. So us as entrepreneurs, as creators, as coaches, we have to build solid finances that will allow us to be able to have a solid future. I don't like the word retirement because I say to myself, I'm never going to retire because I love what I do, but it's taking care of my future self. And you have to think about it, especially if you want to have children, expand your family, you have to prepare financially. And again, as business owners, when we have strong personal finances, it just gives us that mental bandwidth to be able to say, okay, I'm all in on my business.
I'm so glad that we're, going through all of these different topics, because I'm sure that at the end of our conversation, we'll have this a bird's eye view of finances, which is so, so important in our personal and professional lives. You said that at the beginning, when you have a business, you might have to spend money to, for example, have an email platform. We were talking about selling a digital product, email platform, having a platform where you host a digital product, a payment system. And then we were talking about maybe hiring help to help you with the social media strategy. And I'm bringing this up because there is one of my coaches told me very clearly, if you want to make money, you need to spend money. And I feel like we should go a bit over this, because when we get as coaches into business, many times we feel like we have to do everything ourselves, or we might have a bit of a scarce mindset when it comes to the way we spend money. And I want to ask you, what are some good ways in which investing either small or bigger amounts of money can help us actually advance in our business? And why is it important to be open to that, especially when it comes to scaling?
And it's funny, Maria, because when I think about my own journey as an entrepreneur, I must say that I made errors, even though I'm a financial expert. For instance, I bought software and I bought products that I just did not need in my business. As entrepreneurs, when we're thinking about certain costs, okay, do I really need this? And this is the most important question. I want all of you to always think about this before you put your money to anything. What is the return on investment I expect, right? And the return on investment, by the way, Maria, doesn't need to be financial. It can be that it helps you build confidence. But again, that will have positive financial repercussions down the line. So, for instance, for me from the beginning, I knew that I needed to understand how to make digital courses. And I invested in a course to teach me to do that, right? I then invested later on, as my business started to take off, I invested in quite expensive coaches myself. I believe that for me to be a better coach, I need someone who has more experience to help me navigate this new world. A fantastic business coach, I still have a great coach that helps me to convert my expertise that I work with individuals to use it with corporate clients, because that's an area that after 2 years I expanded my business into offering financial wellness to employers for their employees. And so, how does that translate to good investments? For the following: not only do I increase my own wisdom and become a better coach as a result, but it also translates to me saving the time it would have taken to learn all those things by myself. What can help me get the biggest transformation in my business? And I urge you to invest in that. And how do you do that? Again, from my side, that's why I believe that personal finances are so important, so that you can say, well, maybe I have to inject some money into my business from my personal money in order to help me give space to hiring a team. Right. So I made my first hire, official hire, probably 2 years into the business. And I wish I would have done it before, because the time she saves me not only allows me the more bandwidth to become more creative, but it allows me time to enjoy my life, because that is the purpose. Listen, we're here building businesses, but we have a beautiful life to live as well. And it's a balance.
We're here to do business, to make money, to have an impact, but we're here to live a beautiful life as well. And this is where knowing how to leverage different resources can really play to your advantage. Because when you free up that time, when you have a better quality of time, that's going to reflect in your business too. That's going to reflect in your creativity, in your energy. And that's where you have to think of it in a strategic way, because it's not just because you can do something, that doesn't mean that you should do it. You should spend your time and energy into the items that are bring you the highest return, as you were saying. Now, Anna, I want to ask you this. What do you do when you have no personal finances, when you have no money? What are your options when you start from maybe zero, or there's no external finances to rely on?
I'm going to give some tough love here to those that are listening, because I care, right? And when we care, we tell people, like, this is how it is. If you do not have the personal finances to, let's say, set up a business in the way that you want to, go make that money. And if that is having a job in the corporate world, or becoming, you can do it digitally now. It's beautiful with the internet. You can work from home in so many different capacities, but build that money. That would be my first advice. Is that's why I said from the beginning, you need active income to generate passive income, and even to generate other active income, right? So that is my tough love, is like, go make it in whatever shape, way, or form. When I studied at MIT, which was a very intense school, I still had 2 jobs. I was a nanny, and I also worked in alumni relations, where I would call people up for fundraising. And I needed to do that because I didn't have a financial cushion that I could just lean on. I didn't have, my parents, bless them, they did what they could, but it wasn't to cover a lot of things. Then when I became in my professional career, you know what? I still, even though I worked on Wall Street, I still was very savvy with my money. For instance, when my company moved me to London, I got a small 2-bedroom and I rented out the second bedroom to make extra income, right? So I was always thinking, how can I generate the income I need for whatever your goal may be? However, that said, we're living in a world where there is fantastic online free resources that you can build some of the knowledge that you may need, some of the coaching. For instance, I'm part of an organization here in the UK called Careering into Motherhood. I'm a partner coach with them. And that is, we have a free Facebook group that is, I think now over like 15 or 20,000 people. And there's a lot of us coaches, maybe every few months, dedicate an hour of free online coaching that we do online. That's just one example, but there's many. Every country will have like a small business organization where you can go and show up and get some tools to help you with your business. A lot of time they will have great courses additionally that they offer. So I would say go out there and be resourceful. There's also grants out there. So if you have a good idea, and there are government grants, there's private grants, go out there, do some research and see where you can secure some funding to help yourself. I didn't mention this before, Maria, you know this, but I'm also a published children's author. And so I work a lot with creatives and writers and illustrators. And I'll tell you that, like, the Arts Council in the UK, they have amazing grants. Again, the beautiful thing about a grant is it's money that we get that we don't need to pay back. Think about it. What kind of creator coach are you? Are there any grants that you can apply for? If you're a woman, if you're a minority, have a look to see. There's probably something that you can get your hands on.
In short, be resourceful,
Mhm.
because I feel like it's easy to always think of excuses, and some of them might be really legit reasons, it's justified almost. But the truth is that that's not going to move the needle. You need to do something different if you want to get to a different outcome. Now, I know in a previous conversation, Anna, you told me this: solid personal finances are a must have for solo business owners. And I just wanted to bring this to our listeners as well, just because I feel like throughout the conversation, we said the why. And I feel like this sentence puts everything together so nicely, because now we understand how these two parts, business finances and personal finances, are interconnected. Why is it important to also focus on that personal finances? Because it supports your business finances initially. Now, before we get to the end of this episode, Anna, I know we started by talking a bit about money mindset. The question is, what can we do, really something practical, to work on those limiting beliefs?
I'm going to share with you tips that worked in my life. Okay. Number one was understanding, literally sitting there and understanding, where do my limiting beliefs come from? Okay. And again, I mentioned that a lot of us have it from childhood, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is in our adulthood. Maybe we're in a relationship with someone in the past where there was maybe financial abuse or something, right, that made us believe, well, I'm not worthy. I can't do this. I'm not good at math. Maybe it was a teacher, right? When you were a kid that said, you're not good at math. You know what? Screw them. Move forward and say, I will be good at this because I'm going to dedicate the time to learn. So it's about sitting there, journaling, understanding, why do I have this limiting belief? Where does it come from? And what am I going to transform that limiting belief into? Right? That is really important. The other thing that helps a lot with mindset, and I use it all the time, is understanding your why. Why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you trying to build a business? What is the impact you are going to create? Because I promise you, when you are solid in your why, you're going to be able to accomplish things that you never thought were imaginable. I'll give you a very simple example, Maria. I, at the age of 10, promised myself I am going to buy my parents their first home. At 10 years of age, I said that to myself. And it was that why that made me work really hard at school to get into a great university like MIT. And then from MIT, having studied brain and cognitive sciences, I wanted to be a doctor. I realized if I took the path to become a full-time doctor, I'm going to have a lot more student debt than I already had at the time, which was a lot. And I am going to not be able to accomplish that dream for a long time. Okay. So I went into Wall Street because I knew that I was, you know what, pretty smart, and smart people can do anything. And that goes for every single one of us. Don't let any limiting belief of you can't do something get to you, because if you're smart and savvy and put in the hard work and graft, you can accomplish anything. And at the age of 23, which was 13 years later from that promise, I bought my parents their first home. And believe me, that drive is what helps me say, okay, I need to make my business viable, because if my business is not viable, I can't be doing my job, right? And so I need to create a business that will generate the income to support me and my family, but also that will be able to help me deliver more of what I do, right? And so that is something really important. Knowing your why, transforming your limiting beliefs, understanding why you have those limiting beliefs and repurposing them into a positive. And thirdly, and this is something that I do frequently, is have faith. I have faith as a person that is religious, right, in God, but you can also have faith in yourself. And so having that power of faith, knowing your why, putting in the time, is really everything to do with the mindset. Because I think when we can generate, so thoughts become things. Any single thing that you and I see in this world, whether it be a car, building, a business, was once a thought in the head of someone. Look at Tesla. Tesla was a thought in Elon Musk's head. So thoughts become things. So let's keep positive thoughts to help guide and attract the abundance that we desire. because again, when we have a positive mindset in a very, and I can get really nerdy with you if you want from my neuroscience background. But when you really think about it, thoughts are basically firing and inputs between neuronal networks, right? And when we strengthen in a positive way, and there are many studies that you can find online that's showing this, there's called neuroplasticity, we can change the way we think. And so it's very positive for you to create the positive mindset by changing the external factors that may influence it. I am someone who is an empath. I get affected when other people are in pain or negative news. It does impact my mood, which then impacts my ability to maybe be present in certain areas of my life. So I'm very controlled about what I follow on social media. I have to stay extremely informed as a financial expert because obviously I have my own investments. I help people invest. So I have to be aware of everything that's happening geopolitically. But I'm sure that in the input that I have, I try to focus on seeing the good in everything. And that helps me keep my external environment uplifting and positive, which then helps my internal environment.
And I think there's no better way to end this episode because this was on a very, in a way, uplifting note, and not only uplifting, but practical. And in the end, empowering and inspiring. So thank you so much for that, Anna. It's been literally a journey this episode because we touched on so many different things, and I am so grateful that today. And I want to ask you, where can our listeners find you? Why should they reach out to you? How can you help them?
Well, thank you. So I am, all my business really is wear, as in putting on your head, wear your money crown. I am at Wear Your Money Crown on Instagram. Our website is wearyourmoneycrown.com. I also have a great resource for people that are interested in learning a little bit more about investing that I shared with you. That is a link to a free guide teaching you about a little bit about what is investing, what it is. And so I hope that people follow me if they want help and guidance and good tips on strategizing and building wealth, because this is my motto I'm going to leave you with. The more I have, the more I give.
So you heard Anna. Go follow her on Wear Your Money Crown on Instagram. Go download that link. I'm going to add in the podcast notes. And, if you enjoyed this episode today, make sure to really follow Anna because this has been great. And what can I say? Any last words for the audience, or are we good?
You know what? The last word I'm going to say, one of my favorite quotes, right? They say, I'm going to probably change it a little bit, but they say that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago and the best next time is now. So don't stress about mistakes you've done with your money. Don't look at the past, my friends. Today is a new day to start new.
Today is a new day to start new. Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you so much, dear listeners, for sticking till the end. And I shall see you all for the next episode of the Coach Tribe podcast. Have a good day, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
We'll be releasing every Wednesday, so make sure to
subscribe
and rate us 5 stars where you're listening to this show to give others a chance to discover it too.